Hi, Ying. So I've noticed during some of our sessions that you tend to be hesitant to do some of the activities. Can you explain to me why?
Well, I just afraid if the physical therapy will make my pain worse.
Do you know how your nervous system works?
Well, I think that will let me feel pain.
So actually your nervous system responds to a lot of different signals. Temperature, pressure, chemicals. But it does work as kind of an alarm system as well. So when these kind of signals reach a certain intensity, then that information is sent on as being high and it's received and perceived as pain. So if you were to take a look at this diagram, so the way an action potential works is there's a threshold for how much information has to come in before that message is sent on to the brain. Well, you'd have to have quite a bit of information coming in before it would reach that level for it to be perceived as pain. And then that pain would decrease after the stimulus was taken away. So like we were talking about with a hot temperature, if you were to reach out and touch a frying pan, that would be perceived as a high intensity signal and be perceived as pain. But as soon as you pull your hand away, that signal isn't coming in anymore, so then it should calm down and you shouldn't feel pain anymore.
Okay, but can you explain why my pain is keep on going?
Yeah, so with some people, 1 in 4 people, the signals kind of stay at a lower threshold. They become more sensitive to the pain or the signals coming in. And so it's like a heightened awareness. So your body is looking for information to come in, and so it's gonna send those signals up to the brain as if it had reached that high intensity, even though it's a lower response. So it's kind of like, think about a CEO of a major corporation. Something happens, and he's going to ask for more information to come in from his department heads and his managers and whatnot. So the brain's kind of working the same way. It's wanting more information to figure out what's going on when it doesn't really need to be. However, there's some good news. So aerobic exercise can help to reduce some of these signals because your body typically produces endorphins when you've been receiving these pain responses. But if you exercise regularly or we start to get you more active, your body will release the chemicals that modulate pain, so those happy chemicals, and will decrease the pain level.
Yeah, I see. I do know the exercise is good, but I don't know why previously my back pain is not that severe if I rotate my back, but now I don't know why. Even a slight movement will cause very severe pain.
So this is still along those lines of sensitization. This is because it's been going on for a longer period of time. And so it's kind of caused other stimulus. So like we said, it's become heightened or more responsive to incoming information. Well, in this case, it's gone on long enough that other types of responses, so say that we had that hot response. Well, now what you're getting is kind of any kind of rotational motion is just enough to trigger it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see, but can you explain why my back pain somehow will express or spread towards my leg?
So this is kind of a twofold process. So you've got that change in symptoms and you've got the change in response to other stimulus. Well, this can also start spreading to other regions. So like radiating pain down your leg or your buttocks is kind of just the other nerves, they've been heightened and their awareness has been heightened. So it's kind of that need for the CEO to get more information. Well, your brain's wanting more information, so it's made the adjacent nerves also more heightened as well. So it's kind of like nosy neighbors. So you get those nosy neighbors, something went off at your house, maybe a fight, maybe a loud noise, and they're poking their head up over the fence. Well, your body's working the same way. So that CEO is wanting more information, so it's getting other nerves to respond to the same stimulus.
Okay, I see. But since a slight movement will cause so much pain, now when back home, I don't even want to move. I just rest for like whole day. But I do notice that after that, I will have more pain with the regular daily activities.
So that's kind of like the disuse. So your brain has developed a scheme of itself, so like an image of what your body looks like, where it senses it in space. But if you don't use it, it kind of stops regulating that part of the map in your brain, and so your brain doesn't really think that it's there, or maybe it's not as important as it used to be. And so other areas start to kind of creep into that area. But then when you go to do any kind of motion with it, it's like an instantaneous, oh, there's something still there. So if you think about it, it's kind of like what happens to soldiers with phantom limb pain. Well, they don't have that anymore, but their body still thinks that they do because the body's always thought that they do. But this is kind of in reverse in your case. You've kind of not used it long enough that any kind of motion makes your body remember that there is something there, which can also cause that sensitivity and pain.
Okay, now I got you. I think I'll come back to the physical